as time is limited, we will go to the next presentation coming from the SNCF, and it's Marie. Maybe we will have the floor. Thank you, Janusz, very well for this presentation and for this know-how and to share what you are doing.
Okay, I will, since time is running, if you are okay, Marie, I will give you the floor so that you can handle directly, especially because you're going to be doing something with a live demonstration of the software. So I think, yes, here we are. You must have the hand now.
Great, that's perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I think you should be seeing.
Yes.
Right
indeed.
now. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for welcoming me. So I've been asked by the SNCF project team to share with you the return on experience on monitoring social distancing in train stations. So in France, the lockdown ended on May 11th. Traffic would then return slowly and gradually in public spaces and to stations. And it was SNCF Gares et Connexions. So Gares et Connexions is the business unit that is in charge of managing the stations. It was their responsibility to guarantee passenger safety in stations and to restore their trust into coming back to stations despite COVID-19. So SNCF has used a software solution which is called Smart Flows to monitor closely every minute traffic and density, and we are going to explore together the benefits it has. Let's start with the benefit for the COVID-19 crisis room, basically, which is the first beneficiary of the solution. So the passenger crisis room role was to manage the safe return of passengers in the stations and ensuring the social distancing was respected. They used massively the Smart Flows platform to monitor real-time density in stations. They quantified, they objectified the number of passengers and received alerts according to national French thresholds when densities level were hit. They also evaluated the level of business recovery, the return to normal activity, despite the virus being still in circulation, obviously. They forecasted traffic and density in stations. The idea was to have that day after day, okay? So for the current day, they got to know when the higher traffic and the higher density was going to be hit. And eventually, the platform was used to identify risk area where the physical layout of the station might have created a crowd so that they could alter the physical layout before the crowd happened and to prevent them from happening. I would like to show you this movie, which is a short extract of a TV report.
Paris-Est. Voilà, donc on peut aller voir en temps réel quelle est la fréquentation de la gare. Là, ce qu'on peut voir, c'est qu'à l'heure où je regarde, à 16h20, 16h22, on a 1088 clients, donc on est bien en dessous de la fréquentation habituelle, et on voit que sur chacune des zones de la gare, ici, je suis en vert. Donc si je suis en vert sur chacune des zones de la gare, c'est-à-dire que la fréquentation par mètre carré, la densité, l'occupation au sol, est tout à fait satisfaisante pour garantir la distanciation.
En temps réel, les experts ont accès aux caméras, mais aussi à tous les incidents sur le réseau et aux données sur la fréquentation des gares.
On a un sujet tout à l'heure sur Montpellier, en fait, où la fréquence est montée d'un seul coup progressivement. Et on voit qu'à 15h, 15h30, en fait, l'affluence était quasiment aussi forte qu'un jour normal. Et en regardant nos outils, nos différents outils, notamment de suivi, on s'est rendu compte qu'en fait, il y avait 2 trains qui étaient en retard, ce qui fait qu'on avait une suraffluence en gare qui était due au fait que les clients attendent. Parce que si jamais le problème continue à durer, il faudra qu'on prenne des mesures pour notamment faire respecter la distanciation sociale. Et là, on voit qu'en fait, la fréquentation est en train de baisser très, très rapidement, tout simplement parce que les trains sont partis.
Thank you, Mark, for the reading. I thought maybe it was easier for you all to read. The idea was to show you that the crisis room was using the platform, and not only that, but SNCF communicated about it. They communicated largely and widely about that. Again, these are articles from May 15th, so just a few days after the end of the lockdown. And the target of this communication was to reassure passengers that their health and their security was in good hands, with the social distancing being monitored in all train stations to prevent coronavirus from spreading in the stations. Now, let's move on to the incident tracking that is allowed by the platform. I would like to take you through what happened on June 4th in Gare du Nord. Gare du Nord is the first European station, which is 750,000 passengers a day. Well, pre-COVID, obviously, which is almost 300 million passengers a year. So just a few days after the end of the lockdown, there was a passenger incident at peak time from 5 to 7 that prevented any PM, that prevented any train for either entering or leaving the station. So I'd like to show you, and this is where this becomes live. So you tell me if you still see my screen. I think you can see now that you are live on SmartFlow's platform, just the way the users at SNCF could see it currently. So this is Paris Gare du Nord. So yeah, I'm afraid the platform is in French because the users are all French, but of course it exists in English for our international clients. So this is Paris Gare du Nord, and this is the current, the real time, the live situation in Paris Gare du Nord with the traffic. This is here in violet the reference for a day on a Wednesday, on a Tuesday pre-COVID. Okay, so you see that we are far from having recovered the traffic. And I will take you to the monitoring of the densities. This is the actual number per meter square in each of the areas of the station. Some of them are red, that is when they are less than 2 meters square per passenger in the area. Some are green, that is when it's more than 4 meters square per passenger. So this is the live situation. Now, if we go back to what happened on June 4th, which is what I wanted to show you, you will see that, there it is, it's loading just now. So the graph shows each bar as being 15 minutes of an hour, okay? So here from 5 to 7 p.m., we see lots of red bars, sorry, showing that the density was not enough for passenger and that the crowd was critical. This monitoring, both live and the ability to report incidents, is key, because then the train station management can debrief internally the days after on the incidents that happen. And of course, we were just speaking about contact tracing, but of course, the same goes with discussing the situation with the public authorities and knowing when situation was critical. So I'll go back to the presentation right now. I think you can see that I am back now. Yes. The other view that is very useful is for regional managers at SNCF, so that they monitor the business recovery and the back to normal activity. See here, I'm sorry, so there you go. What you can see here is the France and the stations that are monitored by the system. The size of the dots is for the real-time traffic, and the color is for the comparison of traffic right now with the reference that is a pre-COVID-19 reference. So in real time, this allows the regional managers to adjust the time of departure of trains from one station to the other, to make sure that the arrival of a train in a station doesn't worsen a critical social distancing situation. Now, what does monitoring flow actually bring to SNCF organization? Besides the mere social distancing supervision, it helps them improving the operational efficiency, the day-to-day life in the stations for the operational staff members. It also helps them increase the sales revenue by knowing the best places to put retail and food and beverages stores, and to adjust the rent to the real traffic the station provides to the store. And eventually it helps them raise passenger satisfaction by various studies and analysis to ensure the most seamless experience. This is why the project of monitoring flows actually started in January 19, which was so then a year before coronavirus appeared, and covers 250 stations over France, and is currently used by 700 users throughout the SNCF organization. Now, to sum up the key findings from the SNCF experience related to monitoring the flows during the coronavirus crisis, and as they are still doing it now, a couple of points. The first one is that reality must be measured to be objectified. You will always find some operational staff that will say, hey, we know the station, we know what's happening, we are in the station, but actually having an actual objectivity with numbers always supports the best decisions. The second point is that communication is key to restore passenger trust, especially these days where the virus is coming back. With the back to business, it's absolutely key to reassure the passengers. The third point is about the ability to debrief from critical situations, both internally and reporting to the health authorities, health bureau. In France, of course, as we were discussing earlier, but in France, when a person is contaminated, the authorities contact all the people who have been in contact with them for them to have a PCR test. So SNCF can play a role in this, knowing the scale of potential contamination if someone who is infected was in a station. And the last point is that stations are not alone, they're not separated one from the other. They belong to a network. And so on the network standpoint, it's key to adapt the actual time of departure and arrival. We speak of a few minutes adjustment, of course, but this is enough sometimes to prevent from a huge crowd to happening. So as a conclusion, I'd say that all major station networks have Wi-Fi. I'm mentioning Wi-Fi because this is how we build those passengers flow numbers. They all have Wi-Fi, and so the value already exists. You just have in each of your networks the opportunity to transform the gold mine, the Wi-Fi information, into jewels, which is the passenger flow monitoring and knowing. This is what I wanted to share. I'm happy to answer any question.
Okay, thank you very much, Mary. Maybe Isabelle is here also. She would like to say something. So do not hesitate, Isabelle, to interrupt us if you.
Yeah, I think Isabelle was tied with another meeting. Isabelle Delobel is the new point of contact for SNCF, and I think she.
No problem with that. So what Mary is very important that you said communication. It is each time I say that also in the UIC webinars. What is the most important to to restore confidence for the passengers is communication, and communication to see exactly what.
I mentioned external communication in my presentation, but of course internal communication, meaning in the stations they themselves with the voice messages, etc., are very reassuring to passengers.
Yes, you are right. And you spoke also about debriefing critical situation. It is what we are doing here in this large scope, because we can debrief and we can share in all around the world the critical situation. So thank you very much for this presentation. Please, you have the floor for questions to Marie. Marie, are you there? I see you are frozen. Okay, do not hesitate to ask question. When Marie will come back, we will ask her the question.
Okay, and you can use the chat box as well, and you will have the contact details for any other question.
We are waiting 10 seconds because she's trying to speak now. Marie.
Okay, maybe she disconnect and reconnect.
Okay, maybe she will reconnect in some. Okay, please, we can speak a bit between us concerning that. Please, if there are something to exchange about what she said. Barbara, I see you switch on your camera. Maybe it's, you want us to see you, maybe, or to speak. What is a choice?
I'll let you know if I have a comment. I'm not shy, don't worry.
Okay, Theodoros, Jeff. Okay, so thank you very much for that. I'm sorry, I'm waiting 10 seconds. Maybe she wants, if she wants to connect what you said, Vanessa.
Okay, or we can take the question later.
Something, but she has a problem with her microphone at home now. Okay, Frank has a question. Thank you. Yes, please. Yes, it is in the chat. I'm wondering if you can give some insight in the accuracy of the sensors you use. I cannot answer to this question. What percentage of people do you detect? Okay. Yes, I've seen this question. Okay, Philippe, we can go on.
Yes. So, as you announced,
So there is a question in the chat for you. I'm wondering if you can give some insight in the accuracy of the sensors you use. What percentage of people do you detect?
Thank you, and sorry again for that technical issue. So yes, of course. So we're using Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi detects 60 to 70% of people in a station. Just to be clear, people do not have to be connected to the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi just has to be enabled, and that's enough to be able to capture them. So these 60 to 70% of people, we then adjust this number to go back statistically to 100% of the population. And regarding the accuracy with other systems such as cameras is excellent. The accuracy is over 95%, and it has been described by SNCF in a former conference at World Transportation Conference in Shanghai, where they showed the result of a study about the accuracy of the solution and the fact that it was very well, so good that they trusted taking decisions based on those Wi-Fi passenger flow monitoring.
Thank you, Mary, for this very precise answer. Great. Okay, Theodoros Tolia.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a question because the technology seems similar that could be used also inside trains. So do you have used this technology for people counting inside the trains? I think you could. I think you could, if not.
So far, we have never explored using the technology inside the trains, but of course now trains do have Wi-Fi very often, so we could. There's no reason why we couldn't use it, but it's something we haven't explored with SNCF yet, nor with any of our clients. But why not starting that in Greece together? I'd be happy to do so.
Okay, you want to go to Athens. I can understand that also.
You got that.
Which is a nice city. And there is in the LinkedIn group also, there is a question concerning the comptage to count the passengers, to know that maybe all around the table. So you can go in this in this LinkedIn. There is a question which is a recommended question. That means you only see the question I have posted. And there are some examples like within the SNCF also you count the passengers in the trains with some centers at the doors for the new generations in the train. And in Denmark they have sensor for the weight of the wagons. These sensors are used for brake systems, and so they use information to give in real time and in one app for the passenger the information for that. So there are a lot of technologies for inside the train. I do not know, Theodoros, if you have something in your country concerning that. Maybe others have. So do not hesitate to share within the LinkedIn group for COVID-19, which is here, which is for that. It's for you. It's not for me. Okay.
No, actually, we do not have. We have discussed about weight counting, but we have not materialized that. And we use some rough statistics, but not actually a technology means. Also, we have thought about Wi-Fi. So this is why I asked, actually. We had thought initially, but we do not have this technology as a mature technology.
Okay, so if you have something, please share with us. So Vanessa just post the address for the LinkedIn group. You can copy and paste this address to get directly to the question, because it is recommended here directly to the 3, 4, 5 questions. I do not exactly know how many questions are there. Okay, are there other comments to Marie? Coming from the floor. So thank you, Marie. Thank you very much for this presentation. And you see that there are some interest in what you are doing all around the world, and there is interest for you to go to Athens. And